So the outline, we're going to talk about what is vegetarianism and veganism, the guidelines, guiding principles, the good reasons for being a vegetarian, and then at the end, a conclusion. So vegetarianism is a practice to avoid consumption of different kinds of meats. Veganism is vegetarianism plus avoiding dairy products, honeys, eggs, or animal-related products. So in our cultivation, we need to be veganism because to keep our body and mind tranquil, to be pure, and we also do not eat 500 vegetables. We do not. We cannot take tobacco, alcohol. We try to speak no harmful words, perform no harmful actions, and harbor no harmful thoughts or feelings. Why do we not eat those pungent vegetables? Because they harm, like garlic harms the heart, the onion, scallion harms the kidney, leek and chive harms the liver, shallot harms the spleen, and we don't take tobacco because it harms the lung. The alcohol harms the liver and brain. So we try to keep our mind and body and mind purified.
Well, you might want to clarify that, like garlic, those things, they harm the chi, or maybe the vitality of those organs, right? Because there's no, the medical science doesn't say, they haven't figured out that they do harm them directly. It's just that you can say the chi, the energy. The garlic, of course, and onion do have a compound that's an antiseptic, so it will harm cells. It will kill cells. Okay, it's good cells, bacteria, and good cells too, if you eat a lot of it. So, but when it's in the body, it just harms kind of like, the chi of the organs.
It stops rejuvenation of those cells too. So when you keep eating it, those cells don't come back. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it has antiseptic properties, that's true, because it contains a sulfur compound, sulfur-based compound, something like that, which is the basis of a lot of antibiotics. You know that? Yeah.
See, it became popular because they used it in the days when they didn't really have the antibiotic in medicine for treating injury. So using it topically, it can actually help to cure injuries, certain types of injuries. So then, because it's edible, they keep eating it and thinking that it can actually, but it's not doing you any good, it's doing you more harm.
Well, because we are cultivating to get to know our Buddha nature, so keeping away from these pungent vegetables, they just like Lecture Tai said, it harms the energy of our spirit, Buddha nature. That's why we don't consume these to be more clear-minded. There are some pictures of it. And as we cultivate, why do we need to be veganism? Because our guiding principle is to respect all life, reduce suffering, and reduce harm to the animals, reduce waste for rearing these animals for the people, to also reduce obstacles on our path of cultivation. As Saint Zen Buddha said, to stop the bad karma, being like a vegetarian is the first and foremost action we can take for ourselves. So it's like a foundation we have to start as we cultivate. And the other good reasons that to be a vegetarian, because of our physiology. We're not naturally born meat eaters. When we look at our teeth, the carnivores, the animals that eat meat eaters, they have teeth that are sharp, and they're so it's easier for them to eat. But our teeth are not sharp like animals, so we are not we're not made that way to grind the meat. So and the herbivores, the animals that feed on plants, they have the smooth motors like ours. So we're like those herbivores that are more suitable. Were made to eat plants, not to eat meat. And our saliva is alkaline. Alkalinity helps digest plant foods. When those the meat eaters, they produce acidity, so that's why we're made to be vegetarian. And our stomach acid, well, because we're made to eat plants, so so
let's look at the snake, right? The snake is such a small, long animal, and they can swallow a big pig, and that pig stay in the stomach there, and because of the acid they have in the stomach, it digests or it eliminates the substance or the form of the animal until it becomes nothing. Right? In our stomach, if we like you were saying earlier, our teeth, so we have to chew. We don't rip and swallow. So if we do that, then we'll have ulcerated stomach very easily. So whereas the animals, they just rip and swallow because the intestine is just one long thing. Where us as human, our stomach intestine, lots of curves and so forth. So it takes a little longer to digest.
Well, carnivores' intestines are shorter.
Shorter,
but,
yeah.
I mean, the food it's due to the acidity.
It doesn't
break it down.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stay in their intestines too long.
Too long.
So, the
Become
blood's
toxic.
going to rot.
Yeah,
It's going to rot.
become toxic. Yeah, it's gonna decompose, right?
yeah,
But
because
I have, before you move on,
But the snake eating the pig, as far as doing the bones of the pig and stuff like that, what happened to the bones? Are the bones?
You can dissolve it.
dissolves as well?
It's like
Some
it's
things
acid.
might not.
Yeah. Depends on how thick it is, obviously, on what
Okay.
creature, what creature, but
So
yeah, it's,
al-
yeah, that's
alkal-
pretty strong.
alkalinity of so our stomach acid, the alkalinity of it helps digest plant foods. We're not made to eat meat in that sense as well.
It's not
And
that
the,
acidic.
It's not as acidic.
and the intestines, human intestines is about 10 times our length of the body. So it's about 17 to 35 feet in length. It's very long. So for those food to go into to
Disgusting.
go in and come out, it would take a long time. And if we eat meat that's sitting in our body and intestine for too long, it will be prone for cancer cells,
Yeah.
all
Because-
kinds
yeah,
of
because it's
sickness.
decomposing,
Yeah.
and so it's going to have toxic, produce toxins.
Yeah, and in that sense, we are made to be to eat more vegetables, to be vegetarian. Because the animals that the carnivores, their intestines are not like our intestines. They're made to eat meat because their intestines are shorter and smooth for the food to go in and come out right away. But our intestines are like long,
And curvy, yeah. curvy.
with
Convoluted.
pocket with bungee pockets. So it has pouches.
Yeah. Lots of crevices.
Yeah.
So the
Food
food
can trap
lodges,
in there.
lodges
The,
inside.
well,
them.
it's created that way because the nutrient can be absorbed. So we need to be vegetarian.
Designed for fiber.
Yeah, so it can go into our system and the nutrients can be absorbed. That's why it takes a long, some time. That's why we shouldn't be eating meat because meat will create toxins in our body if we wait too long. And the other reasons to be vegetarian is that it's unsanitary because the conditions of these animals, their living condition is overcrowded, is very filthy, dirty, because they overcrowdedness makes it like it can't be as lined up and the and those the meats that people buy in the supermarkets, the FDA allows percentage of other things like the little hairs, the insects. So it's not as clean as well, and therefore we should not be eating these things taking into our body. It will make us sick.
And that's especially for like processed meats.
Yeah.
Obviously those processed, sausages,
Hot dogs.
bologna, those type of things. Yeah,
You don't know what
you don't know
they
what
put in
what
there,
goes in there.
or the leftovers.
Scary.
Yeah, the way these animals are raised because they get hormones put into them to make them grow faster so people can buy them. They can make more money. So there are a lot of chemicals, materials that can cause cancer and diseases.
Yeah, actually, so actually there was an article I saw that says Americans on average eat about 1 to 2 pounds of flies, maggots, and mites each year. Think about that.
Unknowing.
Yeah, unknowingly.
So plant foods help reduce and prevent cancer. And also there was a study done in China by Dr. Colin Campbell. He said people who eat a whole food, plant-based, vegan diet, avoiding all animal products, will escape, reduce, or reverse the development of numerous diseases. So there are a lot of studies outside. People are realizing that we are vegetarians is better for our health. And there are in the National Center for Health, they also found that leading cause of death is for people who consume meat with the high cholesterol, high acidity from meat that cause heart disease, cancer, respiratory disease, accident, stroke, clogged arteries. So there are a lot of facts out there we can will tell us that vegetarian is the way to go. It's more healthier. This I kind of well, there was misconception about like drinking milk will be better for our body. That's why veganism is that we do not drink the milk because like the countries who consume most milk, U.S., U.K., Sweden, Finland, Norway, but the highest rate of osteoporosis is the same way. They do not go the other ways. Milk has a lot of calcium, it's true, but then the protein in it that when body consumes it, it increases the acidity of the blood, and the body pulls the calcium from the blood to neutralize the acid. So it's like that's why it's causing osteoporosis. It's taking away the calcium.
I guess everybody know what osteoporosis is, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The bone becomes
So it
more
becomes
brittle.
more fragile,
Yeah.
more brittle.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So it's easy to break your bone,
Yeah.
especially for older people. When they fall, they break a bone. So that's why it's.
And hunchback.
Yeah, that's why I have so
You
many
do.
hip replacements and so forth. Because that's the first place it starts, right? In the hip joint.
And you shrink more when you get older.
Does it have anything to do with sunlight? Because those countries do not get much sunlight all year round.
Well, that too, because you
Lack of
see,
vitamin D.
vitamin D
Yeah, D is
more
related
to it, right?
Yeah.
So,
You never absorb
Yeah.
calcium.
It's like half the year you're pretty
yeah,
much in
so,
the dark.
But actually, the prevailing condition factor is the protein that's in the milk that because it's got a lot of protein and that leaches the calcium from the bones. So it's kind of has the opposite effect of what they think.
Because this animal protein gives us the acidity in our body, and our body wants to maintain a very good
pH
level. Yeah, and so when this is, this balance is broken, then it's going to trigger that release or discharge
Calcium.
of the calcium from our bones.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you see the body is made up of, it's like a machine, so when it's lacking one thing, it goes
Yeah,
to
it has to be
another
balanced.
place.
So it's be fine-tuned.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh? It's like oxymoronic, right? We say milk has a lot of calcium, and yet the more we drink it, we end up getting less calcium. It's kind of weird.
Well, what about the issue of almond milk? Have you examined any of the
We can drink
similarities or
almond.
differences between almond milk and animal milk or goat milk?
Almond, well, not goat, but almond milk is really good for the body because almond is a very important substance.
Well, what does it contain?
The almond,
Does it? It shouldn't have calcium, right?
it do have
Right,
calcium.
almonds are
Yeah, it have calcium.
probably don't have as much protein.
And it's
Yeah, but it has no protein.
The Buddha
Well,
said,
like I say, does it?
the Buddha said
say-
sesame has the highest
Not
level
animal.
of
Yeah,
calcium.
And they have
but
some
the problem
plant
is
based.
Protein, no, because
sesame-
the first time you say you're not
have
supposed
a
to
lot
eat,
of
so you have,
right.
that's a lot of protein that you get from, right?
Yeah, organic sesame. We need
I'll
calcium.
try that.
10
Well-
Buddha says 10 sesame seeds
Yeah.
will
Okay.
give us
Green tea.
I haven't
our
really, I went to the doctor, doctor said.
calcium for the
Good
day.
eat, yeah, fish is
Right? Now red meat, no, but fish and pork.
Well, the almond milk we do drink because almond milk and the regular milk, I don't think they're the same. Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not.
the same.
They're not the same. That's why we drink almond milk. We can drink
or
almond
soybean milk
Yeah.
or coconut milk.
because it's from almond. It's not from the
Cashew
animal.
milk. Cashew milk.
Hemp
Hemp.
milk.
That's hemp now. Hemp now.
Yeah.
Hemp is high in protein.
And
We have- there's so many.
And now we have oat milk.
Oats too. Wow.
Yeah.
Milk.
Yeah, yeah. The most important thing here
Okay,
is that
I have one question.
minerals are absorbable, right? So that's the most important thing.
But soya milk will give a lot of uric acid.
No, that's only if you're
That's
not
true.
drinking
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
liquid in terms of water. If you're drinking a lot of water, then you would
Because
not
more
have that problem.
commercialized, they use the skin too.
Yeah, so that's why you should not drink too much soy milk.
Yeah.
And everything's in moderation.
Yeah.
Even good food, you have to eat in moderation. Just like vitamins, right? You're not going to take the whole bottle, right? You're going to take the whole bottle, you probably die.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just, and I don't expect you to have an answer for this particular question, but it's just food for thought. But one of the things, as far as we deal with our spiritual relations in this particular area, you're talking about karma and angelica system that goes with it. Some people think that it might be a little insulting or people being arrogant if they become vegetarians after all the stuff that their ancestors went through and they ate meat and they kept them alive and stuff like that. There are people who live to 100 and they ate meat during the course of their life. But as far as dealing with now, you're going to get this, this attitude that you're not supposed to eat meat. And then even with the Bible teaches, this is one of the arguments that goes on with Christians and Jews and a few others, is that they teach them how to prepare, meats for the people that they feed in their congregation.
Yeah, kosher.
So you have these particular, spiritual arguments that goes on, and as far as dealing with, is there a proper solution to it, or is there a path that we can deal with introducing why it's better to reduce the amount of meat consumption, and as far as dealing with how do we, say, or do you do an apology situation, repentance situation, as far as dealing with our prayers to our ancestors, saying that now that we have learned that we're not supposed to eat meat, and stuff like that. So how would we really deal with that as far as dealing with? Are we out to insult people with that, or not insult people?
Well, everything we do is a choice, right? God gave us our spirit. God did not create us like a robot that we have to listen or we have to be certain way. God gave us a choice to decide whether we want to be a good person or we want to be bad. Of course, when we know when we can make choices, we want to do good for ourselves. Nobody wants to do bad for ourselves, right?
There's a lot of issues that goes on with particular societies, so you know.
But I mean, you make the
Well,
choice.
see,
Yeah, but some of them don't have a choice.
with that question, I usually use the story of Jesus on the Mount of Olive, right? When he had all those thousands of people and he fed them, took the fish, the loaves and the fish,
Yeah,
and
2 fish and 5
multiplied it.
loaves.
But the problem is he fed all the congregation, but he didn't eat any. Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's because they didn't write that he didn't eat. He
But
probably-
it wasn't mentioned that he ate
Yeah,
it
but
too.
he ate a lot of places.
So,
that
so
started
that's,
dying.
you know, you have to take it at face value, right?
Yeah.
So Jesus is also vegetarian.
Yeah, because so
They don't know if he's really a vegetarian because, I mean, especially doing it in the Jewish culture, I very, very seriously doubt it. But then even deal with the issue of the introduction of wine. Now, you know, this is a personal experience that I've been through. You know, being on the streets of New York, it's been hard, and you sit up a lot, and you don't get full circulation in your body. At one point, I developed an ankle ulcer, right? You know, they have in the little metro thing talk about ankle ulcers. That thing is very painful. And I went to the doctor hospital. It cost me over $3,000 dealing with that. I still haven't paid for it yet. But the real issue was they gave me medical Advil, okay, 600 milligrams that was supposed to take away the pain. It did not. They gave me Benadryl, you know, another thing, and it did not take away the pain. Then someone said, you know, just go get a bottle of wine. I got a bottle of wine and drank a little bit of the wine, and it took the pain away. Okay, so the issue of wine being good for the body or not is a medical issue. But as far as dealing with it, I personally experienced it. And I don't like taking Advil, Bayer, or none of that. But as far as dealing with that wine stuff, I think there's a spiritual issue that says that it helps maintain the health of the body.
Okay, thank you, Brother Branch.
Okay.
Well, the Bible also says that God gave us all the plants with seeds to consume. God did not tell us to eat all the other animals. So there are a lot of signs when we look around that what is really good for us for better health as well as our spirit. So the choice is in our hand. And some people have misconception about being a vegetarian. We might not get enough nutrients, like protein. Where do we get protein from? All the green plants and the unprocessed whole grain protein has higher quality than all animal proteins. Or in the beans, in the different nut seeds, and the nuts. So there are a lot of proteins we can. Is better than the animal protein. And there were a study done on the bone loss we mentioned earlier. On the osteoporosis, that people over 65 in the U.S. They did a study. The male vegetarian has 3% of that, but as compared to the male meat eaters, has a higher percentage. So it's like double. That's why vegetarian is better. And in female, is the female vegetarian is 18% having the bone loss, and the female meat eater is about double as well, 35%. There we can see again that eating meat actually is not a better way for our body and for our health. Now we come to look at the calcium. The calcium over here, I lay out some of the calcium absorption rate, the milk as compared to the other veggies like kale, this mustard veggie, the Chinese veggie, and Chinese cabbage. So all the other veggies has higher calcium absorption rate. It's better as when we eat more veggies, it helps in absorption of the calcium.
That high.
I didn't know the percentage, but they do have
A lot of people say Chinese cabbage has no nutrition, but it has high calcium. I can't believe it, right?
What is mustard?
Mustard.
Mustard veggie is the green
Oh,
kind.
the green. Yeah,
It's a green.
They get it here all the time.
Sesame
Yeah, my
seed,
mom
yeah, high.
used to like that.
It's like green and long in stem. Some like a.
It looks like a what's this lettuce? Romaine lettuce.
Romaine
like,
lettuce?
Yeah,
It looks like, yeah, it's
Why don't you
longer
Go
stem.
Google it and show them the picture.
Wow.
The mustard
Mustard,
green.
Chinese mustard green.
Well,
Two types.
the stems are
It's very liang.
bigger.
Right.
The leaves are smaller, so it has more stem.
Oh, really?
Johnny's helping to get a picture of that mustard veggie.
Yeah, it's like romaine lettuce.
Well,
It looks like it's similar to
Yeah.
carrot.
Oh, it's like mustard green?
Yeah, mustard
If
green.
you go to the
They have
supermarket,
different
they
colors.
label
Yeah,
mustard
similar,
green.
collard green.
It's
No,
a American
that is
mustard green, it's a little different.
That's not it?
Yeah,
That's
very
not
No.
leafy, the American market,
good looking.
very leafy
Oh.
ones. It's a little, it looks a little different.
It's different from collard green, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's similar, it's similar.
So, but there are different types really. Depends
Next
on
time
the
we buy a
origin.
variety
But
of.
Yeah, right.
But they usually have it.
This is
Yeah, take it home and cook it.
They usually cook it here all the time.
Okay, and the calcium in food that has the highest calcium actually is the black sesame, the seaweed. Milk is over here has
Milk is
one.
nothing.
It-
Milk is nothing.
Milk
Yeah, that's
compared to black sesame is
20
really
times less. Almost
yeah.
20 times less. 18 times less. Scary.
and the
Yeah,
meats.
seaweed's good. Yeah.
See, sorry, but one thing is that because most people don't look at it because I guess most people don't eat it, but the vegetable that is even higher is called
Not kale.
no broccoli sprouts.
Broccoli sprouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts? You mean?
No,
No, not
Broccoli
sprout.
sprouts.
It's like the little like
They're hard to
Little
sprout,
sprouts
yeah.
from the broccoli.
It's very,
Looks
very
like
good.
alfalfa sprout.
Yeah,
But
like it looks like
Yeah,
alfalfa.
but
right,
it's
yeah.
made with broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah. And it's very, very
High in
good.
calcium.
So you guys, when you go to the supermarket, you should buy some. It's interesting.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Go ahead.
We should add that in.
Broccoli sprout.
Broccoli sprout. I guess all sprouts are good,
Yeah.
whether it's alfalfa or
Yeah, sprout.
whatever. Because it's got a good
Okay, and the meat actually has very low in calcium as compared to the other like sesame seed, the seaweed. And then the iron, the top 5 food in highest.
Seaweed?
No,
Could they go back a little?
because
You
of
can
the
say
high fat.
The previous page.
No,
Oh my God.
Thai.
Isn't that similar to seaweed?
Well,
No,
it's a type,
it's
like,
thinner.
oh, you're talking about like sea moss.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's like on the
Oh,
rocks.
yeah.
It's on the rocks.
Yeah, you get,
Like the
yeah.
purple color one,
Yeah,
say
You
that's
have
sea
different
moss.
colors, yeah.
And that grows on the rocks.
Oh.
Yeah, that's very high in calcium.
and
Yeah.
you can also get them in snacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Korean ones, laver. You go to Costco,
Yeah.
they sell them in,
Yeah.
whatever, those little packets.
How about eggplant?
Eggplant? Ah, I don't know.
The lava is the dry edible one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
miso soup.
Yeah. But it's dry, but the first they boil it first and then dehydrate it. So that's all it takes. But it's best if you just boil it and eat it like that.
You know, you have in the ratio thing, you saying milligrams per 100 grams. So,
Huh.
I mean,
So
milligrams.
divide by 100?
Yeah, I mean, like, yo, what you say? So, like, the seaweed would be something like 13.
No,
1.3.
no, so basically, like, black
13 grams,
sesame is 2 grams.
Yeah.
2 grams
Right,
per
2
1
grams.
But in other words, it's just let's say a handful, right? Right?
Oh, yeah, I like it. I like your measure, right? A handful. Just get a handful of it, right?
Yeah.
Milligrams per 100 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got milligrams per 100 grams, but as for a deal, milligrams 10 to the minus 3. Okay, so as for
Yeah.
a deal, you really deal with 10 to the minus 5 as far as what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on
that's
with
a
it.
thick one.
Yeah, 10 to the minus 5, so 10 to the minus 5, so you say
Yeah.
Milk
0.02.
is very little.
Yeah, it's saying, you know, you say 0.05.
0.01.
Okay. I mean, that's what you're saying, saying 0.02 grams? Or
Yeah, yeah,
0.02
I
0.02 grams.
I would think these are milligrams, but
No,
I'm
it's not
not
milligrams.
sure. I will look it up.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you.
No, you're
I
right.
understand that, but the
It is
way she
milligrams.
just has the
Grams is
formula
tight,
there,
right?
you know, it just says so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
Continue, yeah.
And the irons, the top 5 highest in iron content actually is none of these are meat.
No
The
meat.
fat choy is the it's the
I did that.
It's a type of vegetable. Fat choy.
Fat or pot?
It's like
fat
Oh,
choy.
okay, okay.
Black hair.
The black, is it black? It's like black, ready, hairy, yeah, black. Black hair, black moss, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a moss. It's
How
like
about mushroom?
It is well in Chinese it's like it is some it calls like hair vegetable, but well it's just a name. It's like
right?
Outside, not algae.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's on the, it grows on land.
Where does it come from?
Where does it come from?
It's a fungus?
Let's see,
Yeah, I
That's a
don't know.
Cantonese
Oh,
pronunciation.
Fat
That's
fat
all.
choy. Oh.
That's Cantonese.
Okay, what's the English name for that? I have no idea.
well the English name
It's still called fat choy?
it's a type of photosynthetic bacteria.
What,
Is it
what's it
synthetic?
called?
It's man-made?
It's a type of photosynthetic bacteria.
It's a terrestrial cyanobacteria.
Holy cow.
Is it bacteria?
Yeah, it's, wow, yeah, that's what it says.
Well, there's another
Chinese New Year. Fat choy.
well the seaweed is high in iron, cabbage, the dry lily flower, the black sesame, and the meat with highest iron content beef has only 4 milligrams.
Wow, that's nothing.
It's green. Put it in the
what?
water.
Dry lily flower.
But it's
What is
very.
it?
That's a lily flower.
Cam châm.
Oh, kamjang. Oh. 金针针
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Jinzhen Wan.
金针
It's commented now.
that little
No, it's
thing.
an actual flower.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually little flower. You can eat it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, lotus flower, yeah.
No,
you can-
lily.
Lily
You
flower,
can
yeah,
eat-
I
Oh,
get
it's part
lily
of the
bud,
lily.
lily flower, you can all eat all of that.
They sell them dry
Yeah, yeah.
in the package. I never buy them. It's good.
Okay, so the other good reason why vegetarian is better because cruelty against these animals, their living conditions is harsh, animal abuse, cold-blooded slaughtering. So that for that reason. There were this William Inch, a British author. He said, we have enslaved and treated our distant cousins, these animals, so badly, and beyond doubt, if they were able to formulate a religion, they would defeat the devil in human form. So, because these animals, they're really suffering when being raised and when being killed. And the other reason, the causality, the universal law of justice, the law of the universe. In this Chinese me character, actually it has this two len. The len is in Chinese also means man. So it has like two men in this character, one above the table and one underneath. As the one on top is being eaten, the one underneath will come and eat the other. So it's like it's also telling us that when we eat them, it will cause bad karma. We might get reincarnated to be eaten as well. And the Buddha told us that when we eat these meat, that there are consequences that we have to pay back. Because our spirit, our Buddha nature is pure, and because of humanity that God created us to be good. So we should not be killing these animals just to fulfill our desire. That is only our mouth gets to taste it. Once we taste it, once it goes in, I mean, it's just the desire, the thinking, the thought that, oh, I need to eat meat. We do not need to eat meat. That's the it's the misconception.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of miseducation. That's the whole problem. What's going on with humanity is miseducation.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
That's
Trying to finish up.
okay.
how many more slides?
We're almost done.
Well, we have to go. We have to go.
Just like and Buddhist.
Okay. So I thank Heaven's Grace, Master's Virtues, and thank everyone, transmitter, lecturers, and everyone. Well, this is to be continued. If I said anything wrong, transmitters, lecturers, and everyone to correct me, and I ask Buddhas for forgiveness, and thank you, everyone.
One.